My name is Tyrone. Some people call me Ty. Some of the people I used to play with call me T Stalls. So this is going to be our sportscast. I have with me my buddy from high school, Jordan Drake. A little bit about me. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. Played football at Lindsey Wilson College as a receiver all 4 years. Played football, basketball, baseball, and track and field in high school. So that's a little bit about me. Jordan, just go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about you.
Yeah, name's Jordan. Went to same high school as Tyrone. He gave me the nickname Drizzy back first day of freshman year. Played golf and tennis in high school. That's really much it. Didn't do too much other than that. Done a lot of behind the scenes athletic director works and stuff like that. But
yeah, don't be modest. Jordan knows a lot about sports. He's done a lot of things around Wagner. If you went to Wagner, you know who Jordan Drake is. Drizzy, of course, like he said, I gave him that nickname. When you hear Drake, of course, you got to go Drizzy. But so yeah, we were talking this week about just different things going on in sports, NBA playoffs, and we sat there and thought about like, why don't we just make a sports podcast? We always talk about sports, so let's do it. I said, man, I got free time, nothing but free time, so let's do this. So this is our first episode. The reason why we're doing this, like I said, we love sports. As you can tell, I played almost every sport. I will give a little background. I only played baseball for 2 weeks. I realized I wasn't good at it, so I quickly went back to football. But yeah, we love sports. Like I said, me and Jordan, all we talk about is sports and, of course, our life. So we decided, you know what, let's make a podcast. Some of you may see my other content, Worship Wednesday. This is our next one, sports podcast. So we're going to just talk about a couple of things that's happened this week. As most of you know, the NBA playoffs got the conference finals going on this week, right? We got Mavs Warriors in the Western Conference, and we got Heat Celtics in the Eastern Conference. What's your thoughts on that, man? How do you think this series has been going for both of them?
I really I don't know much anymore about the Heat and Celtics series after last night. I predicted a little bit closer of a matchup than that coming into game 2, but we'll see what happens going back to Boston, see how that plays out. Warriors Mavs is playing out pretty much like I expected it to. I don't think the Mavs have much in the tank they don't have the firepower in my eyes to eclipse the Warriors. And I think the Warriors have a nice young core around that same dynasty trio. So we'll see how the rest of those go. But
I'll tell you one thing, the Warriors know how to draft, and they got that next coming. And hopefully they can keep everybody there. That's, kind of, you got to weigh your options in this offseason. You got, your main 3 that you drafted, and they're homegrown, as they say. They're homegrown. You got another crop growing, but it's like they know their worth. Everybody knows how much they're worth. NBA players are worth multi-million, So they're going to want their money. So we're going to see how they do in the offseason. But like you said, in this series, kind of already knew where this was going to go. Just a little background. I'm a Phoenix Suns fan. If you don't know why, I'll tell you why. I'm a huge fan of Steve Nash. He was my favorite player growing up, him and Dwayne Wade. So I was a Phoenix Suns fan. Don't know how we lost to the Mavs, honestly. I do, but I don't. Devin Booker kind of went cold in the second half of the series. Games 6 and 7 were just awful, man. I think Phoenix kind of just seen the name on the jersey there and just said, I will beat them. And honestly, they didn't plan for that. We got Coach of the Year. Love Monty Williams. I hope he stays with us for a while, but there was a lot more adjustments we should have done. I don't fully agree with Pat Bev said. Patrick Beverley is a weird one for saying CP3 is not good or didn't deserve, championships. I think he deserves it. He just didn't play like it, and it happens. He's 37 years old. It happens. But as you said, for Heat and Celtics, honestly, last night is exactly how I thought it would go. I thought it would be a little bit more competitive, closer score. But when you have your best defender and, Marcus Smart coming back with the Boston Celtics, that gives you more life, more energy. The team chemistry is flowing because you got your guy back. And then the best defender, second best to Jimmy maybe. You got, big guy going out, Tucker going out. And, that's the main guy that was guarding Tatum. And you can't do much. So I kind of see tonight going for the Warriors. We're going to go up 2-0. And then next game back in Boston, like you said, I think Boston's going to take care of business again. So, I'd say for the end of this, I think it's going to be a game 6 for the Heat and Celtics. I think the Celtics will take this and, get that win and go move on to the finals. And then it'll be a Warriors versus Celtics finals for me. What's your thoughts?
I'm still riding with the Heat. I mean, I do think that Jimmy Butler will have a bounce back game.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Tyler Hero didn't play that well. Bam hasn't played that well, throughout the playoffs. I think maybe even a change of scenery just going up there. Maybe they had, too much time off between the Sixers and Celtics. So, they did come out slow in game 1, and then that third quarter changed it up. So, now it's back to you. It's 1-1, new series. Just go ahead and go up there and try and take care of it. I think it'll go game 7 and down Miami, and then that's when anything can happen. It's all who's going to show up and perform and whatnot. But we've seen Butler drag that team 2 years ago to the finals in the bubble. I mean, I think he could probably do it again. But like you said, Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year. He is, he reminds me of their version of Jimmy Butler. Get up in your face. He's at defense. You don't win Defense Player of the Year for no reason. So we'll see what it comes down to with those two.
Yeah, exactly. As a Suns fan, that's what we needed. We needed somebody tough like Marcus Smart or Jimmy. So if they can't keep up the pay for any of them two, or we can work a way to get one of them, I will gladly take them. I don't care who we have to give up. Just don't give up Booker or, I'm close on Bridges, but, that's our young guy, so I'll let him keep working. But speaking on Miami, I kind of want to flip our conversation to the NFL and about some of the offseason moves that we've had. Miami, huge, getting Tyreek Hill. I think that was probably one of the biggest surprises. I did not see that coming at all. But I think this is going to be very beneficial. You got Tyreek Hill on one side and you got Jalen Waddle on the other side. I mean, if you thought the Kansas City was scary, I think this is going to be a scary team as well. Kansas City is going to be Kansas City by any means. But, I mean, what do you think about that two going together? I mean, you got Waddle now getting to get mentored by Tyreek Hill, and now you got two speedsters and quick guys out there.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely a plus for Miami as long as, Tua can get him the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, Miami's offensive line's just got to give them time.
Yeah.
Get them out there. You've got the weapons. Now there's no excuses. If your offensive line is retooled enough to figure it out and get you some protection, Tua was top 10, top 15 draft pick. I mean, he's got the talent. Let's just see if, he can get it done. So you've got the weapons. There's no excuses now.
Yeah, he's injury prone. I give him that he's injury prone. But they did a smart thing by getting Louisville guy, Teddy Bridgewater, as his backup. That was smart. I think that'll be huge. But they did a bad thing by getting rid of another Louisville guy and Devontae Parker, who's now with the New England Patriots, which that's smart on Bill Belichick. It's a smart guy. He knows what he's doing. I think Devontae will be a great addition to that receiver core up there, that veteran presence that they need. He'll really help Mac up there as well. I think the Patriots should be back to form a little bit next year. They got a younger QB, but has more experience, as you've seen last year. He did a great job. But let me tell you, my Phoenix Suns are my favorite team in basketball. My favorite team, and who I think had the best offseason move, are the Denver Broncos. I think it was huge to get Russell Wilson. Yeah, we gave up a lot, but honestly, I can deal with not having Noah Fant on my team. I was not really big on Noah Fant his first year there. Obviously, he's a rookie, but he really hasn't gave me much to get excited about. And then Locke is Locke. Everybody knows what Drew Locke is. But
I mean, you get Russell Wilson, that's automatic plus.
Yeah,
I mean, the dude's a winner, and we can see when he's got the pieces around him what he can do. Your defense, Denver's defense is already good.
Randy Gregory. We got Randy Gregory. That's huge.
Just hand him the keys and let him go. I mean, week 1, Monday Night Football, going back to Seattle. I mean, that's going to be one heck of a game.
Yeah.
So, you get right back into it and go up into enemy territory. We'll see how he operates, but I think a great move on their part.
So, hopefully we get Russell Wilson, 2013, 2014, but he was young then, but still he got to the Super Bowl and, won a Super Bowl. Hopefully we get some MVP Russ in there. And I think he has a young core. As we talked about before, Jerry Jeudy. I don't know what it is with these Alabama receivers and, staying out of trouble. Pray the young man gets right and is all good. But it seems like what we seen in headlines, it was issue with his girlfriend. They're bouncing back. Hopefully he's, able to bounce back on the team and keep this young receiver core going, because with Russell Wilson at the Rams, I think it's Super Bowl. I mean, I won't. I'm a big fan of the Broncos, so that's why I say Super Bowl. But I say it's conference or bust.
I mean, you got to go through the Chiefs and the Chargers and get back to that. Yeah. But then you got to go through my Bengals, who I think had a great draft. For the first time in a long time, they weren't drafting for needs; they were drafting for depth.
Yeah.
That's huge. I think 100% if they can figure out the franchise tag situation with Jesse Bates, get him off of that because he's not showing up to OTAs. He doesn't want to play under the franchise tag, but you get him back and then get his contract figured out, get him back playing. I mean, that defense is already good. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the offense, Joe Burrow. I mean, dude's a winner. Coming off that knee surgery like that. Still having that horrible offensive line last year. Yeah. And I mean, it was to do what he did. And then they went out and got offensive linemen. I mean, they made a couple trades, did a couple signings, and I mean, it's going to be good. I think they're going to have one heck of a season.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Bengals have, they didn't really have much to show or prove last year. But they've shown what they can do, and now they're going to have to prove it again. Like, was it a fluke? Is Joe Burrow really going to be, big guy Joe? I mean, the other name for him. Is he really going to be that guy again this year? So I think he can be. When you got Jamar Chase, I really don't see why you cannot. I mean, I know it was his rookie year. Usually receivers do pretty well in their rookie year because a lot of defenses don't know what to get from you. But I mean, I think he'll be pretty great, and I think they'll bounce and keep it going. So we're going to flip on over. So we talked about basketball. We talked about football. Now, in the sport I'm not really, big on, but, I'm starting to learn it, especially being here in Chicago, NHL playoffs. So what's a little recap you can give us for that and what's going on there?
I mean, there's nothing like the NHL playoffs. I mean, basketball, football, I mean, they're great. But the intensity and atmosphere at NHL playoff games, second to none. But right now, you're in the second round. Eastern, you're looking at Florida, Tampa Bay, Panthers, and Lightning. Lightning just won last night, scored a game-winning goal, 4 seconds left in the game. They're up 2-0 in the series. You've got the New York Rangers, Carolina Hurricanes playing tonight. Carolina's up 1-0. Out of those two, I see Carolina, Tampa Bay, or Tampa Bay going to the finals. Then you get out west, you've got Edmonton and Calgary. Calgary's up 1-0 in that series, and then Colorado and St. Louis are tied at 1. I know. I think most of them play tonight and tomorrow. But out of the West, I've got probably Colorado coming out of the West. They've got a lot of firepower. They got a lot of talent. But I got Tampa Bay overall beating Colorado in the finals 4-2. So,
yeah, I'll take your word for it. Like I said, I'm definitely I'm gonna have to watch this week. So next week when we do this, I can have a little bit more fire into it. I mean, I love sports. So NHL, I went to my first game for the Blackhawks, which Blackhawks didn't make the playoffs this year. But I mean, it was a great experience. Great sport. If you don't watch it, those watching our video, if you don't watch NHL, I think now is the time to watch it. Like you just said, NHL playoffs, nothing like it. This is where you fall in love with the game and watching it. So I'm definitely going to have to tune in. I've seen there was game sevens when there was NBA game sevens going on. So I know there's definitely excitement going, and scoring a goal with 4 seconds left is huge.
Yeah, I mean it's just a different type of atmosphere. Yeah. It really is. My Penguins blew 3-1 lead against the Rangers last Sunday. So, I mean, it is what it is. But, I could turn on playoff hockey. I mean, it's the intensity ramps up so much. It it's unmatchable. Constant action, heavy hits. It's fast paced. So.
Yeah, I like that. Somebody told me on show I watch, they said NHL playoffs, you never see them play as physical as they do during the playoffs, because if they keep up that kind of contact and that type of play style throughout the whole season, they wouldn't make it through the whole season because their body takes. I mean, just like with NBA playoffs, you sacrifice everything on the line so you can get that trophy at the end of at the end. You want that trophy, you want that win, so you go all out. So you can say that about any sport, but watching NHL, you're on ice for one, and you're slamming into each other. You got sticks, and I can definitely tell it's a lot going on NHL. So a couple of hot topics that I wanted to discuss. So better matchup. I've seen this, on Twitter a little bit. Who do you think is a better matchup? We got Luka versus Steph or Jimmy versus Tatum. I'll let you go first because I think there's a clear answer on that one. I think you do too. But go ahead and tell me who you think is a better matchup.
I mean, that better matchup's got to be Jimmy versus Tatum, 100%. Jimmy. Looked up season stats. Jimmy's beating him in points per game by like 1.6 points. So that's pretty even. But I think what comes down to that matchup, Butler's defense is by far top notch. He also, Tatum's giving up 4 turnovers a game, 3 personal fouls a game. Jimmy Butler's under 2 in both those statistics. That just leads to me, you're going to be on the floor more consistently. You're not turning the ball over as much. And, I didn't find a stat for forced turnovers. Steals, 2.2 for Jimmy a game. That's just extra possessions. He gets to the line. I think he was 17 of 18 the other night from the free throw line in game 1. I favor Jimmy Butler just from a defensive aspect, but there's a clear advantage three-point percentage-wise with Tatum. He can definitely step out, make those shots a lot more consistently than Jimmy can.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. Jimmy versus Tatum is definitely the better matchup. Obviously, Jimmy won that first matchup. Went crazy in game 1, had 48, I believe. 48 points in that game. Yeah. And then Jason kind of was hot in the first half, and then he got heat checked, literally got heat checked because they started guarding him better in the second half, and he was a no-show. But honestly, like I said, I think last night is kind of showing you what's going to happen. When you get DP of the year back, he does more than just defense. In his stats right here, he led him in rebounds with 9 rebounds. He led him in assists with 12 assists to 1 turnover. This man is he's a big X factor. He gets Jason Tatum. He gets the whole Celtics team rolling. So if you keep him in, you keep Al Horford in, and you get Jaylen Brown to be more consistent with his shot, I think, this should be a 4-2 series going to the Celtics. Especially with them going back home. I don't see why they can't take both of these games, if not one, and keeping it even going back to the Heat. But I still think this can be a Celtics series. And definitely a better matchup out of the two. Steph Curry is just unguardable, and Luka can only do so much. He's literally doing what LeBron did with the Celtics. Yeah, he has a little bit. What LeBron did with the Cavs in his first, finals run. But Luka is literally carrying this team. He does have a few weapons with Dinwiddie, who he'll show up every once in a while. Brunson's Brunson. He's a small guard. You can only do so much with a small guard. But yeah, I think Steph is going to run that show. Next thing I want a hot topic. I would have to say is what's going on crazy right now is the Nick versus Jimbo versus Dion saga. Nick Sabin, as everybody calls him, the greatest college football coach to ever do it. The man has titles to back it up. He has number 1 after number 1 recruits to back it up. Until this year, when a huge thing came out, NIL, which changed the game. Well, last year, it changed the game. Nick Sabin pointed out early last year that one of his players, and he really thrived off this, making almost $1 million, if not more than $1 million. Obviously, he was talking about Bryce. So for him to go from that viewpoint to now, he's calling out another coach for doing it illegally, paying his players to come there at Texas A&M with Jimbo Fisher, and then saying Deion Sanders pay the number 1 player, and I believe Hunter is his last name, paying him $1 million to come there. honestly, I don't see why Nick Saban will do it. I understand you want to be the number one guy again, and always you want to reign on top. But as the greatest coach of all time and being in this game for so long, you got to know you got to change with the times. Times are changing. You got to constantly, what is it? You got to constantly evolve your game, and it's part of it now. You got to deal with it. NCAA threw it down on you. You got the NIL to deal with. Do something about it. You're still the greatest coach. My thoughts is it still comes down to X's and O's, right? You can have the best players. It still comes down to X's and O's. So, what's your thoughts on Nick Saban's comments? I can pull up exactly what it said, but what are your thoughts so far before I get those pulled up?
I mean, to call out someone specifically, I mean, it's kind of an asshole move. I mean, if we're being honest, you're calling out. I mean, you coach with this man. You all been friends forever. And yeah. I think part of it was a little bit bitter that he finally got beat by an old assistant last year, and Jimbo beat him. I think that might have played a part in it. He seems like he's got an ego, obviously, and
why he would come out and say what he said. But I looked up, exactly what he said and his kind of reasoning why, behind what he said after a year of having this and going back on what he said. He said Wednesday night that Alabama players made $3 million doing it the right way last year, and that only 25 players were able to leverage name, image, and likeness, NIL opportunities. So I get it. I get what you're saying. Name, image, and likeness isn't that huge? Maybe in Alabama, is that what you're going for? $3 million is a lot, but 25 players compared to maybe what a player in Texas is going to make, or a player in California is going to make. It's going to be huge. As we discussed before, how many people really want to go to Alabama other than going to Alabama for the University of Alabama or Gulf Shores? I mean, there's really not much attraction to Alabama other than the notoriety of Nick Sabin and him being the greatest coach of all time. I kind of back Jimbo Fisher on here with saying, it looks bad. It kind of, I don't think it shows his true colors of Nick Sabin. I think he let this moment get to the best of him. Everybody does it. I wish he didn't say it, but he said what he said. I mean, now you got to back it up. Everybody's looking forward to that October 8th matchup now. I mean, I was already going to watch it, I'm sure, but now the marketability of that game and just Texas A&M is going into Alabama. As hard as it was going to be beforehand, imagine what those students are going to have up now. I mean,
you obviously know that's going to be the SEC on CBS, 3:30 game, October 8th. You can go ahead and pencil that in. There's no other game that's going to bump that one.
Nope.
I do think Nick Saban has adapted more than, let's say, Dabo Swinney. He's come out 100% against it, and look what his season was last year. Yeah, and that's going to continue to be it. Clemson was nothing before him. Now they're going to be nothing while he's still there.
If you keep that same mindset, for sure.
That same mindset, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been to Clemson, South Carolina, but it's very small. And there's no good part of Clemson, South Carolina. It's not near the beach, so I mean, what else do you have to offer in South Carolina? There ain't nothing. It's kind of like Alabama. There ain't nothing there.
Yeah. So, and for that's not the only person he called out. So Jimbo was just one of the two. The second person I really don't understand why he called out or took a shot at, and that's Deion Sanders at the HBCU team, Florida State. I really don't. Not Florida State. I'm sorry. The team that he's coaching right now, Jackson State. Sorry. I really don't know why he wanted to take that shot. What he said was about five-star prospect who flipped his commitment from Florida State to the HBCU program at Jackson State with Deion Sanders. Travis Hunter said that, he has paid him $1 million to come there. And I think it's pretty funny, and it was good on Travis Hunter's part to fire back at Nick Sabin, greatest coach of all time, to say, I don't make $1 million. Travis ain't built like that, and he pretty much said on the tweet that, if I made $1 million, why is my mom still living at home in a 3-bedroom house with 5 kids? And honestly, if that didn't make Nick Sabin feel bad, just saying it in general, But having a kid tell you that, like, dude, you understand my struggle right now. Don't tell me I'm making $1 million and my family's still struggling. I'm working hard at HBCU with, a great coach and great person in Deion Sanders. For you to come out and say that, especially the relationship you have, Aflac. I mean, Nick Sabin and Deion Sanders are in Aflac commercials. So Deion did come out with his own thing and saying, he's not mad at Nick Sabin. It just it's more of like, why? Just come to me. Why are you gonna say that stuff? We don't do it that way. We do it the right way. He builds a brand for them players. He builds a brand for those, for those players that go to the HBCU in Jackson State. They're building up the HBCU. I want to see that more.
It's not like high level prospects going to HBCUs is new. It is good for college athletics.
Mm-hmm.
We'll, wherever a kid wants to go. I mean, going to the HBCUs is not a new thing for top athletes. Obviously, we've seen it a lot more in basketball than football, but just exposure-wise, I think there's a bigger difference between football and basketball. But at the end of the day, if he's got, kids can silently commit at any time, and you never know it. And that deal could be struck after they've committed. They could have already turned in their paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
You never even know. And then it comes out after the fact, there's $1 million deal. At the end of the day, who cares? You're Nick Sabin. You make $9 million a year. I think just go out there. You still have your number 2 recruiting class now. I mean, that's where the ego comes into play. He doesn't have the number 1 anymore. He's got number 2. But at the end of the day, just go out there and beat them on the field like you've been doing for 15 years now and win your title and you'll be fine.
X's and O's, man. X's and O's. Everybody knows they have the biggest dog and the biggest fight. So really nothing, you can't really complain right now. Just keep going, being the coach that you are. I really look up to him as a coach, being a coach myself. Like, I hope I get even that much close to, doing half the things he's done for a lot of these young men. And I think personally, like you said, NIL is huge. It's huge. Maybe it should have had its different guidelines. Honestly, I thought athletes should be paid. Being an athlete in college, I thought, it'd be great to get a little paycheck. I wasn't expecting much going to Lindsey Wilson College, but, $200, $300 a month was fine for me. These guys are making, from what I'm hearing, thousands of dollars.
Down in Kentucky, I think a basketball player last year had a sponsorship deal with Porsche.
Yep.
He had a brand new car.
Washington, right?
Yeah. Ty. You want to talk about, they got a brand new Porsche, 18 years old. I think the quarterback, Will Levis, just got a new deal. They replaced Wan'Dale Robinson, who went off, with Will Levis now down at a Ford dealership down in Lexington.
Got a brand new Bronco.
And I think one thing, because they actually use the name, image, and likeness. He's on billboards, commercials, and stuff like that in that local area. That's where I think, like you said about guidelines, getting paid to go to a school is great. Mm-hmm. Do I think there's, does it need to be geared towards more of the name, image, and likeness side? Yes. Because Bryce Young, great football player. Personality-wise, I'd never see he would never be in a commercial. Yeah. It'd not be my first pick from that team to be in a commercial. So they got to iron it out and whatnot. So
it's all going to die down.
It's all going to die. And it's good for the kids. And that's what matters.
Right now, yeah. If you're a young kid, like about to go to college, now's the time. You don't know if you want to go. You possibly can make money going if you're a good athlete, obviously.
And the college product is better.
Yeah. Oh, way better.
UK, Oscar Shibwe, trying to get his family out of the Congo over to America. He doesn't have money for that. Yeah. What does he do? Now with NIL, he's got a bunch of deals in place now. And so now he's staying another year. So you got, I think it's the first time since 2009, and Tyler Hansbrough, a National Player of the Year, coming back to school. That's good for the product of college basketball. You've got a lot of guys that would go and get drafted in the second round, spend a couple years in the G League, now coming back, able to make some money from the local school areas, and then go make that jump. And then they're set up a little bit more financially to make that jump and, spend a couple years traveling around playing in the middle of nowhere. So.
I agree. And that's what makes me think about it. Oscar Sheedway, him and another player, huge, because in college, this is where they're going to make most of their money now with NIL. You go to the NBA, like you said, you get drafted second round or undrafted. You go to a team, they put you on their G League. They may keep you, they may not. They may send you to one week you're in Florida playing for Orlando's G League team. Next week you're up in New York playing for the Knicks G League team. You don't know what you're going to do. Whereas I'm going to stay right here in Kentucky, stay here in Louisville, and I'm going to just keep making my 20, 30 grand a month, build up my, people that love me in this community. Because where are you going to, most of the people that retire or don't make it into the professional level of sports, they stay where they played. Because if you're a big name like Luke Hancock didn't go to the league. He went to the G League, I believe, and played a little bit there, but then he got hurt and is like, you know what? Where is he big and known at? Louisville. He
does really good for himself now with his job. He works for ACC Network and stuff like that. I played in a golf scramble last August, I think, and Luke Hancock was playing, and I got to meet him. I mean, dude's a nice dude.
Yeah.
I've grown up a lot where the hatred of opposing team players is kind of gone. The fanatical side of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude's a baller. That dude can shoot lights out. It was cool to meet him and talk to him. Couldn't be nicer of a guy. So,
yeah.
But you're right.
Go ahead.
You're right. Like, you get done, you go back to where you've made a bunch of connections. If you don't make it, and that local area. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a Cards fan, and Luke Hancock actually works out in my gym. That's pretty cool. He worked at the gym when I was in Louisville. It's now Esported, but it was LA Fitness out in St. Matthews. Give it a try. It's a nice gym. But I think, that rivalry, like you said, is not more so you hate the player, you hate that name on the chest. So whenever I'm, as you know, I'm a Louisville fan. I don't like UK. Jordan, for you all that don't know, he's a UK fan. I'm sure he said it already, but big UK fan. I know now I don't dislike players on that team. Maybe I'll say something about a player during the game, but then afterwards, that player goes to the NBA, I start rooting for him. I think I have the biggest, probably have to be okay with a UK player in the NBA because my team drafted nothing but UK players for like a good 3-4 years in a row. We have Devin Booker on our team. Didn't like him when he was in college. Now he's one of my favorite players to watch. So it's like, do I like UK? Will I ever cheer for him? Heck no. Now, when their players leave, like Oscar Sheedway, I will be cheering for him. I'm cheering for him to make some money now so his family can come over here while he's at UK. But when he goes to the league, or, I'll cheer for him then. But when we play them, hopefully we don't get scared this year. We should. With Kenny Payne at the big man seat now, I think we're going to play you all, and I think it should be a competitive game.
You should have played us last year.
Oh, you know why we didn't. I'm a Louisville fan, and I admit it. We were scared. I'm glad we didn't play you all because I couldn't take a 50-point beating by my rival in 2 sports within 2 months.
That is true. I forgot about the football game.
Yeah, I want to forget about the football game, but I can't. So
I was moving to South Carolina at that. I was watching that game while I was driving to Myrtle Beach.
I remember. I think I was going to come down to help you, but I was too mad at Louisville. No, I was busy. But yeah. So we won't keep this going a little, much longer. Just a couple wrap up things. So this is our first one that we do together. Like I said, my name's Tyrone. Call me Ty or T Stalls. This is Jordan Drake, aka Drizzy. That's my nickname for him. We can call him Drizzy. I like that name. But last couple things we'll leave with you. Tonight we have the Western Conference finals going on right now. We got the Warriors versus the Mavs at the Warriors. I would see this going into the Warriors' hands easily. And then we're going back to Boston for the Heat versus Celtics game. And we already know where we see with that. So, Jordan, like we talked about before, I like to leave them with an interesting fact, crazy rule, or stat of the day. What is your crazy stat of the day that you shared with me? I thought was really insane.
Well, I mean, crazy stat. I'm a big baseball guy. Not too much into college baseball. I don't like giving props to anything University of Tennessee, but I will say, dude, they got a pitcher down there in Knoxville. His name is Ben Joyce. I think I've seen him multiple times throw 104, 105 miles per hour fastball. I mean, that's just ridiculous
Yeah.
to have that kind of arm, that young of an age.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that thing holds up for the long haul, how hard pitchers' arms are, how much wear and tear they put on it. But that's that crazy stat of the day.
And
I couldn't even come close to hitting that. So
I
we'll
can't. I didn't even make it in high school baseball, so I can't. I can barely hit a 40 mile per hour. I'm gonna get better at that. They said it's hand eye, so we'll get better at it. But so thank you all for tuning in. Like I said, we're gonna try to do this again next week. Give you an update on the sports that happened this weekend, a little bit more on the NHL, and a little bit more insight on our NFL moves. If there's any more that happens, come hear from us next week. Thank you for tuning in. Tyrone, Ty, T-Stall signing out.
see
Drizzy
y'all.
Drew. See ya.